Hello everyone, welcome to Voxcel. In this video, we're gonna discuss reading passage 3, which is taken from test 1 from academic book 18. We have already discussed reading passage 1 and 2 of this particular test. If you haven't watched those videos, you should, but after watching this one. So without further ado, let's dive right in. So what we do first is we're going to read the title of the text. So the title says Conquering Earth's Space Junk Problem. Satellites, rocket shards and collision debris are creating major traffic risks in orbit around the planet. Researchers are working to reduce these threats. So from the title it's quite clear that let's mark it. So what is space junk? So if you don't know about that, they have mentioned here satellites, rocket shards and collision debris. So basically satellites, rockets, space stations like that collide with each other, and they form junks of, or they form small pieces that cannot be removed, so it become debris. So rocket shards obviously. So they are creating major traffic risks in orbit around the planet. So for the new satellites or the new equipment, they are becoming an obstacle. Researchers now are they working to reduce these threats. They're trying to reduce the space junk problem. So in this particular paragraph you will have to read these kind of words. You should be ready, prepared to read these kind of words, because I have heard a lot of students saying that they become bored while reading some kind of paragraphs, some kind of particular information. They don't find it interesting. You don't have to find that information interesting. I always tell them what you have to find interesting is your marks. The marks should be of your concern, nothing else. Whether you like that particular paragraph or not, whether you find it is true or not, whether you agree with that paragraph or not, it does not matter. Okay, it does not simply matter. You have to read that paragraph, understand that paragraph, and then find the answers to the questions. Only then you will get your scores, and your scores should be the most interesting thing for you in your test. Nothing else matters. Clear? Now, what we're gonna do is not gonna read the paragraph just yet. We're gonna go straight to the questions. Look at what kind of questions we are dealing with. Make a strategy, and then read paragraph. So questions are on the right hand side here. Questions 27 to 31. So this is the first set of questions. So reading passage 3 has 6 sections A to F. So we know there are 6 sections: A, B, C, D, E and F. So we are dealing with 6 sections here. So what we have to do now is we have to find which section contains the following information. So this is basically paragraph contains information type questions. So we have to find that. Now if you have watched my previous video of reading passage 2, we also dealt with similar type of questions there. Like the type was same, paragraph contains information. But there is one crucial difference between reading passage 2 type of paragraph contains information question and this type of question. What is that? If you have watched that previous video, yes, there was instruction given, and B, you may use any letter more than once. Here there is no such information is given. So if you have that kind of information given, you can be rest assured that almost always, like 99.99% of the times, one of the letters will repeat itself. Okay, but here you have no information, no such information. That just means every paragraph, every section will have only one option as its answer. Clear? For example, if for question 27 you have B paragraph as its answer, B will not be answer to any other question. That you can be rest assured, because there is no mention of you may use any letter more than once. Clear? Let's see. Other than that, you have to complete this summary for 32 to 35. Obviously that means blanks, but you have to write one word only. You cannot write more than one word. You have to be very careful about that. And for the last set, questions 36 to 40, The instruction says look at the statements and list of people. Okay, you have been given list of people. Here they are given, and you have to match each statement with the correct person. There are four people given, and how many questions are there? Five. So the instruction words, you may use any letter more than once. So this sorry about that, this just means that your one letter will be repeated. If you use common sense, you will get to know that we have only four options as our answer. So we have five questions, so we have to repeat one question so that we can cover all the five questions. I hope it is clear. Now we will make a strategy for this. Why students find these questions the one of the most difficult questions? Because these are not in order. Like 27th, you may find it in A paragraph, you may find it in F paragraph. 28th, you may find in let's just say D paragraph. 30th, you may find in A paragraph. 31, you might find B paragraph, something like that. So there is no set order for these kind of questions. That why students find these questions one of the most difficult. Okay, so I'll tell you, we will like what we will do for these questions. We will read the A paragraph, we will go through all the questions and see whether we have any answer in A paragraph or not. Clear? Then we will read B paragraph, go through the questions again and see if we have any answer in B paragraph or not, and so on. And for the remaining, for these blanks, we have conquering. So okay, if you look closely, so the title of the blank says the Interagency Space Debris Coordination Committee. So wherever this particular organization, this particular committee is mentioned, we will find the location of our questions in that particular place. Clear? Because the question, but the title of the passage is Conquering Earth Space Junk Problem, and this is a basically very small part of that particular commit part. Okay, paragraph. So wherever we will find this particular words, these words, we will find the location obviously. And for the people, wherever we will find a name, we will mark it in like blue color, or if you are doing it on pen and paper, you can circle it, put a star in front of it. You can make a, like, you can put it in a box, you can underline it, whatever you want to do, you can do that according to your own comfort, your own style, so that when you were trying to find the name of the person, you will be able to easily identify the name. I hope it is clear. Now let's read the questions. So what I will do for these questions now is I will try to make you understand these questions. We will read these questions together, and then we will read the A paragraph, and I will give you some time to find the answer. So let's read the questions first. 27th, a reference to the corporation that takes place to try and minimize risk. So reference, let me change the color. So reference means mention. So there will be mention like about what? Corporation that takes place. So we are cooperating with each other, or maybe two organizations, two governments. So some people are cooperating with each other for what? To try and minimize some kind of risk. So obviously if we're talking about space junk problem, so we are trying to navigate through space maybe. So we are cooperating with each other to so that we can avoid collision with these debris or these pieces. Clear? 28, an explanation of a person's aim. So in whichever paragraph there will be a, what is aim? Yeah, goal. So there is goal given of a particular person and explanation why this person has set up this particular goal. So that paragraph will be our answer. 29th, a description of a major collision that occurred in space. So it is quite clear there will be mention, or there will be a detailed description of a major collision that occurred in space. So maybe two ships collided, rockets collided, two space stations collided, whatever that is, there is a major collision. Maybe there is a lot of damage to property and personal damage as well, maybe loss of life as well. So that will be mentioned in that particular paragraph. So we will write that paragraph as our answer. 30th, a comparison between tracking objects in space and efficiency of a transportation system. So we are doing comparison, we are comparing, so obviously comparison will be between two or more things. So which two things? Tracking objects in space and efficiency of transportation system. So these two things are compared. A reference to efforts to classify space junk. So we there will be mention to the efforts to classify space junk. So like we are categorizing space junk. For example, in category A, category 2, B, C, D, or maybe 1, 2, 3, or any other type of names given to some kind of categories. Like this category with the junk like falling in this particular category is not dangerous. The junk falling in this category is highly dangerous, or maybe there may be some kind of color coding given to it, maybe some kind of name given to it. So you understand the idea. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to read the A paragraph now. If you look closely, A section is divided into two paragraphs. Here one, let me do this one, this, and second is this. So you can do two things: either read the entire paragraph and then try to find this, or read this paragraph, then try to find the answer, and then read this paragraph and then try to find the answer. And for example, if you have read this paragraph and you think, for example, if you read this paragraph and you think 28th is our answer, and if you read this paragraph and you will not be able to find any other answer, because obviously there is no repetition here. But if in this you are not so sure about the answer, but here you are sure that, like just 30 is our answer, then we will mark 30th as our answer. I hope it is clear. So let's read the A paragraph. Last year, commercial companies, military and civil departments, and amateurs sent more than 400 satellites into orbit, over four times the yearly average in the previous decade. So they're saying that, sorry about that. They're saying that last year only, these commercial companies, military and civil departments, and amateurs, so amateurs means people who are doing this just for their own purpose, it's not, and if they are not professionals, so they sent more than 400 satellites into orbit. Okay, so more than 400 satellites, which is over four times the yearly average in the previous decade. So in the previous decade, yearly average was 100 or more than 100. Now they have sent more than 400, four times. Numbers could rise even more sharply if leading space companies follow through on plans to deploy hundreds to thousands of large constellations of satellites to space in the next few years. So obviously this particular number, it can rise even more sharply. Why? Because if these companies, they follow through on their plans, they want to deploy hundreds to thousands of large constellation satellites in the next few years. So obviously there will be a lot of satellites in space. I hope it is clear. Now I will give you around 10 seconds. If you tell me whether there is any answer from question 27 to 31 in this or not. Time starts now. Okay, time's up. Let's read the questions together. Is there any reference to the corporation to minimize risk? There is nothing mentioned like that. Any explanation of person same? No. Major collision? There is no mention of that. No comparison either. And there is no mention of classifying junk. So in this we have not found any answer. So let's read the second part. Okay, now let's make it easier for ourselves. Do we need to read this particular question 32? No, because we haven't read the Interagency Space Debris Committee. Clear? Do we need to read these? Again, no. Why? Because we haven't read any name here as well. So here we do not have any answer. Let's read the second part of the paragraph. All that traffic can lead to disaster. 10 years ago, a US commercial Iridium satellite smashed into an inactive Russian communications satellite called Cosmos 2251, creating thousands of new pieces of space shrapnel that now threaten other satellites in low Earth orbit, the zone stretching up to 2000 kilometers in altitude. So they're saying that all that traffic, because there are a lot of satellites here, this particular traffic can lead to disaster. So they're now talking about one particular incident that, like 10 years ago, this particular satellite, it smashed into one of the inactive Russian communication satellites, and it created thousands of new shrapnel pieces in the particular space, and now it is threatening the Earth's orbit and the satellites. And this particular zone is like around 2000 kilometers. Altogether, there are roughly 20,000 human made objects in orbit, from working satellites to small rocket pieces. And satellite operators can't steer away from every potential crash, because each move consumes time and fuel that could otherwise be used for spacecraft's main job. So they're saying that there are 20,000 human made objects, and the satellite operators, they cannot move away from every potential crash. Why? Because for that they would need more time, more fuel, and that time and fuel can be used to do the main job, like go to the straight path, reach their destination, do the timely surveys. Okay, whatever they wanted to do, whatever they set to do on the in the first place, they can do that particular thing, instead of using that fuel or using the extra time to steer away from the potential crashes. I hope it is clear. Now again, you have around 10 seconds. Tell me whether 27 to 31 is there an answer or not. Time starts now. Okay, time's up. Let's read the questions together. 27. Is there any mention of corporation that takes place to try and minimize risk? No, there is no corporation mentioned here. There is no mention of personal aims as well. Is there a mention of major collision in space? Yes. So for 29th, our answer is A. Let me mark here where it is written. Yes, 10 years ago. So they have mentioned a particular incident that occurred in space. I hope it is clear. Now we don't have to read the others, because we know there is no chance of any repetition. But let's, for the sake of our confidence, we will read that. Is there any comparison between tracking objects and transportation system? Nothing like that, and there is no mention of classifying junk as well. I hope it is clear. Now, do we need to read blanks? No. Why? Because there is no mention of this particular organization, and there is no mention of any person either. So we do not have to read these questions as well. I hope it is clear how to attempt or how to approach these kind of questions. Now moving to the B paragraph. Again, B is divided into two paragraphs. We will read the first one. I will give you 10 seconds. Then we will read the second one. Concern about space junk goes back to the beginning of the satellite era, but the number of objects in orbit is rising so rapidly that researchers are investigating new ways of attacking the problem. So they're saying that concern about, say, space junk, it's not a new thing. It goes back, meaning to say it dates back to the beginning of satellite era. Like since the beginning of satellite era, we are concerned with the space junk, like how will we tackle that, something like that. So we are concerned from like beginning of this particular project. Now, but now what has changed is we are investigating new ways to tackle the problem. So now they are not looking from the old lens, they are looking through the new lens. Several teams are trying to improve methods for assessing what is in orbit, so that satellite operators can work more effectively in ever more crowded space. So there are a lot of teams, scientists, they have formed teams obviously. So there are a lot of scientific teams that are involved in this particular project. They are trying to improve methods for assessing what's in the orbit, so that they can like draw a plan or a strategy where to go, how to approach that particular place, something like that. Some researchers are now starting to compile a massive data set that includes the best possible information on where everything is in orbit. So some researchers have started collecting massive data set so they can find where everything is in orbit. Do you think it's possible? Yeah, neither do I, but this is given, so we will not put our beliefs or what we think about this problem into the question. We will read whatever is given. Others are developing taxonomies of space debris, working on measuring properties such as the shape and size of an object so that the satellite operators know how much to worry about what's coming their way. So other, they are developing taxonomies of space debris. What is that? They are working on measuring properties like shape and size so that they can know whether that particular thing is put dangerous for us or not. Okay, because of that size, whether it will like damage the spacecraft or it will not just scratch the spacecraft, whatever it will do, they will form the strategy according to that. I hope it is clear. Again, you know the drill. You have around 10 seconds to tell me whether 27 to 31 there is any answer here or not. Time starts now. Okay, time's up. Let's read the questions together. 27th. Is there any mention of cooperation that is taking place to try and reduce or minimize the risk? Nope. 28th. Explanation of personal aim. Is there any mention of any personal aim in this? Again, no. 29th we have done. 30th. Is there any comparison? No. Is there any mention of classifying space junk? Yes, there is. So our answer to this question is option B. Can you tell me where it is written? Yeah, there are like two things mentioned. Some are collecting data sets while others are developing this. So how they're categorizing on the basis of shape and size of an object. So they are trying to classify junk according to the shape and size. I hope it is clear. Now, in this paragraph, do we need to read blanks? No, because there is no mention of this. And is there any name given in this? Again, there is no name in this, so no need to worry about that. Let's read the second part of the paragraph. The alternative may many say is unthinkable. So now there is an alternate, so another way to deal with it or something like that, but it's unthinkable. Why? Let's see. Just a few uncontrolled space crashes could generate enough debris to set off a runaway cascade of fragments, rendering near Earth space unusable. So they're saying that just a few uncontrolled space crashes, like not a lot of accidents, just a few space accidents, it can create enough debris so that it will render the Earth space unusable. So we will not be able to use that particular part of the space. If we go on like this, we will reach a point of no return, says Caroline Frew. Oh, so here is name. An astrodynamical researcher at Purdue University in West Lafayette, Indiana. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing this university's name. Oh, chances are I'm butchering it. I'm sorry about that. So this is the information we have on our hands. So now you have around 10 seconds. Tell me whether you are going to stick with question 31 as our answer, or do you want to change it, or is there any other answer here in it or not? And the time starts now. Okay, time's up. So let's read the questions. Is there any reference of corporation to reduce and minimize risk? No. Is there any mention of personal aims? Again, no. There is no comparison either. Okay, and we have concluded the junk was in the first paragraph. So in this, there is no like question given. So we will stick with our 31 junk, classifying junk. Now, do we need to read blanks for this? Is there any mention of interspace debris committee? No. So we will not read that now. But do we have any person? Yeah, Caroline Frew. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna read these questions with you firstly. Then I will give you around 10. Okay, let me give you 10 seconds. So I will give you around 15 seconds to read these questions and tell me whether we have any A option for any of the questions or not. Time starts now. Okay, time's up. Let's read the questions now. Knowing the exact location of space junk would help prevent any possible danger. So this whichever person says this, he or she is saying that if we know the exact location of what space junk, it would help to prevent any possible danger. So if you know, like this person is saying that if you know it's this particular point in space, you will find like debris of rocket or something like that. You can avoid that. You can like plan your path accordingly and avoid any danger. 37th, space should be available to everyone and should be preserved for the future. So this particular person is saying that space, it should be available to everyone. It should not be available to few countries or few companies only. It should be available to everyone, and we should preserve it for the future. It should not be like at present we fill it with so much crap, so much rubbish that it is unusable in the future. It should not be like that. 38, a recommendation regarding satellites is widely ignored. So there is one recommendation, suggestion given by this particular person or someone else, and that particular according for what regarding satellites, and that particular suggestion is widely ignored. Widely means largely, mostly it was ignored, like people or whichever group they are referring to did not pay any attention to it. 39th, there is conflicting information about where some satellites are in space. So we have some conflicting information about some satellites location. Like some people are saying this satellite is in north, some are saying it's in west, some are saying northwest, some are saying east, some are saying south, something like that. The information is conflicting. Someone are saying some, maybe some scientists are saying somewhere else, some scientists are saying somewhere else. So there is conflicting information. 40th, there is a risk we will not be able to undo the damage that occurs in space. So they're saying that this there is some risk that we will not be able to undo the damage. Undo the damage basically means we will not be able to reverse the damage that we do in space, that the whatever we are doing in space, damage we are damaging the space, we will not be able to rectify that, reverse that damage. Clear? So these are the like questions. Let's read the information now. If we go on like this, we will reach a point of no return. Do you think there is any location in this? Yes, without wasting any time, the answer to this question is question 40th. If you were able to find it, congratulations. If not, don't worry. I'm gonna explain. So they're saying that we will not be able to undo, we will not be able to undo the damage. Basically we will not be able to reverse the damage. So if we go on like this, if we keep doing this, we will reach a point of no return. So if you reach a point of no return, that means you cannot go back, you cannot go in reverse, you cannot go back. So and you will not be able to undo whatever you did. So that is Caroline Fr. I hope it is clear. Why? Let me mark the location here as well. I hope the question is clear. Moving on to the next set of question. Okay, next paragraph C. Oh, it's quite big one. Let's read it. Let me to yeah. Even as our ability to monitor space objects increases, so too does the total number of items in orbit. Now they're saying that even if our ability to monitor the space object it increases, like we have developed new technology, new objects to monitor space objects, but what is the problem? Total number of items in the orbit is all the total number of items, it is also increasing. That means companies, governments, and other players in space are collaborating in new ways to avoid a shared threat. So what it also means that companies, governments, and other players, they are collaborating, they are like tying up with each other so that they can avoid a shared threat. So shared threat meaning to say space debris. International groups such as Interagency Space Debris Coordination Committee, so we have found the name. Let me mark the name in this color so that it is easy to understand. So, international. This is an international group have developed guidelines on space sustainability. So, this particular groups, these groups such as this particular committee, they have developed some guidelines on space sustainability, like how to use space sustainably. Those include inactivating satellites at the end of their useful life by venting pressurized materials or leftover fuel that might lead to explosions. So in these guidelines, well, like what is one of those guidelines is that you have to inactivate satellites by at the end of their useful life. Okay, how to do that? By venturing pressurized materials or leftover fuel that might lead to explosion. So you have to use all the fuel. You have to uh, throw, or you have to park satellites somewhere where there is like less danger to the active satellites. The intergovernmental groups also advise lowering satellites deep enough into atmosphere that they will burn up or disintegrate within 25 years. So how to manage inactive satellites? So that they have to lower satellites in deep enough into the atmosphere so they will burn up automatically and disintegrate within 25 years. But so far only about half of all the missions have abided by this 25-year goal, says Holger Craig. Okay, so this is the name of the person. So what this person is saying, that though they have made this deadline, but only 50% of the uh, only about half, basically 50% of all missions have abided by this rule. Like 50% of the companies or 50% of the missions are done according to this particular rule. Operators of the planned large constellations of satellites say they will be responsible stewards in the enterprise in space, but Craig worries that problems could increase despite their best intentions. So the operators are saying that they will be they will responsible for whatever happened in space. Okay, but this particular person, he is not satisfied with that. What happens to those that fail or go bankrupt? So he is saying that he asks, so here he means Craig. So he asks, what happens to those companies or those players who go bankrupt? Who will look after their satellites? Who will like park their satellites or see that their satellites are not so do not become danger to others? Whatever the situation is, they are probably not going to spend money to remove their satellites from space. Obviously, if they have gone bankrupt, why will they spend more money to remove the satellites from space? So what will happen then? So that what this person is worried about, that particular thing. I hope it is clear. Now you have around 10 seconds. Tell me whether 27 to 31 has any answer in this or not, and time starts now. Okay, time's up. Let's read the questions together. Now, is there any reference to the corporation that takes place to try to minimize risk? Yes, there is. Where it is written? Yes, here in the second sentence itself. Let me first mark this location, then I will explain. So here they have said corporation that take place to try and minimize risk. So to avoid a shared threat. So they're trying to minimize risk. They're trying to avoid a threat. So corporation shared. So if you're cooperating with someone, you are doing something by sharing. So you're sharing the responsibilities if you're cooperating. Clear? Group project corporation. I hope it is clear. Let's look at the other questions. Is there any mention about person's aim? Nothing like that. Comparison between tracking objection space and efficiency of transportation system. There is no mention of transportation system. So obviously your answer is 27th here. Now, do we need to read 30-second question or so? Yes, we will. Why? Because we have found this particular word. Let's see, read 30-second question. The committee gives advice on how the dash of space can be achieved. Now they're saying that this particular committee, it is giving advice on how the blank of space. So blank of space just means something of space we can achieve. How the dash of space can be achieved? It should be something of space. How the let's see what kind of thing is this. mm, International have developed guidelines. So if they are advising you, they are developing guidelines. So this is our location, obviously, on space sustainability. Those include doing this. The committee advises when satellites are no longer inactive. So that is inactive. So yeah, our answer is in this particular sentence. And for that you sorry about that, and that you have around 10 seconds. Tell me the answer. The time starts now. Okay, time's up. And the answer to this question is yes, guidelines. Oh, sorry, sustainability. What I was saying. Sorry about that. The answer to this question is sustainability. So, if you were not able to find this answer, don't worry. I'm gonna explain it why how we arrived at this answer. So they are saying that they have developed guidelines. So they are advising you. So if they are telling you how to do something, so obviously they have to develop some guidelines. So let's just say, for example, if a teacher says you to do a particular thing, so but they haven't told you how to do that. So have they provided any guidelines? No. But if they have provided instructions, like how to do a particular thing, how to write essays, like for example, we have developed a video course. It's one of the most, if not the most detailed video course on IELTS, that covers all the four modules, be it listening, writing, reading, and speaking. So if I talk about writing and speaking, we have provided you detailed guidelines, instructions on how to write, how to form your essays, how to think about ideas in your speaking, how to attempt part 1, how to attempt part 2, how to attempt part 3. If you're preparing for academic IELTS, how to write your line graphs, how to write your bar graphs, your processes, your maps. If you're preparing for your GTs, how to write your letters, formals, and your informals or your semi-formals. If I talk about task 2, how to write your agree, disagree, how to write your both views, or any other type of the 5 types of essays, we have provided detailed instructions for that, so that you can easily understand how to build your essay step by step, so that you can get at least band 7 or more in your writing, so that you can achieve your dream band score and go to your dream country. So that is guidelines telling someone how to do something. On what? Space sustainability of space, something about space. I hope it is clear. And the next one, the committee advice. Let's see if 33 is also here. I believe it should be, because there's a lot of information left. The committee advises that when satellites are no longer active, any unused or pressurized material that could cause dash should be removed. So yeah, we have read something about that. So the committee here, they're saying that this committee advises or say something like that when satellites are no longer active. So here they have written inactive satellites, end of their useful life. Okay, so any unused or dash pressurized material, so here it is, pressurized material, or that could cause dash should be removed. Clear? So both the answers, I believe, guys, wait a second. Both the answers should be in this particular sentence, and for that your time starts now. Okay, time's up. If you need more time, you can pause the video and continue when you are ready. So here the answer will be of 33rd will be, let me do this first. Guys, give me 1 sec. Yeah. So the answer to 33 will be fuel, and 34th is explosions. So if you were not able to find these answers, don't worry. I'm gonna explain them to you why these are our answers, how we arrived at them. Just give me few seconds to mark these answers. Let me write it here as well. I'll explain in a bit. So now here they're saying any unused. So for unused, what they have written, leftover. So if something is leftover, that particular thing is unused. So if there is leftover food, so that food that was not eaten, so unused. Okay, and pressurized material we have already established. So pressurized material, here they have written or pressurized material. So they have written here, they have written pressurized material before leftover. So they have interchanged the position, but the answer will be fuel. Or that could cause something, and that might lead to. So if something is leading to something, it might cause something. So what it can cause? Explosions. I hope it is clear up till now. Let's read 35th now. Uh, just a second, guys. Somebody is calling me. Let me just take this call. I'll be right back. Hello. Yeah. I'll hit you back. Okay. I'm busy right now making a video. I'll hit you back. हाँ हाँ कर रहे 2 मिनट कर रहे हैं. हाँ हाँ कोई बात नहीं. Just wait. Okay. Sorry about that. So where were we? 35th question. Although operators of large satellite constellations accept that they have obligations as stewards of space, Holger Craig points out that the operators that become blank are unlikely to prioritize removing their satellites from space. So we have, I think, read stewards of space somewhere. Let me go through this pretty quick. So there, okay, first we'll go through blank. So Holger Craig points out that the operators that become something. So operators, obviously we're talking about person, people. So people that become something or someone are unlikely to prioritize removing their satellites from space. So they are not likely. So unlikely means that the chances are next to zero. Clear? Let's see. 34, the improve atmosphere, but so far only space Germany operators. So they're talking about operators of large constellations. So here's something about constellations, satellite constellations operators. So satellites, they are responsible stewards. So here it is, they are responsible stewards in their enterprise space. But Craig worries. But although here they are talking about but here, so that okay. So if you know about this grammar, you know both the functionality of both these words is same. So worries that the problem could increase despite their best intentions. What happens to those that fail or go bankrupt? They probably not going to spend money to remove their satellites from space. So yeah, removing the satellites from space, remove their satellites from space. So obviously our answer should be somewhere here. And to find out this particular, let me do this again. Our answer should be somewhere here, and to find out this answer you have around 10 seconds, and the time starts now. Okay, time's up, and the answer to this particular question is yes, bankrupt. Let me just do this. I hope everybody arrived at the correct answer. If not, don't worry, I'm going to explain it to you why this is our answer, how we arrived at it. And why fail is not our answer? Somebody must have marked fail as their answer. So why fail is not our answer? I will also clarify that. So here they're saying that operators become. So if you write fail, operators that become fail, it doesn't go like that. So here they're saying about go bankrupt, become bankrupt. So they are not likely, they probably not, unlikely. Going to spend money to remove satellites from space, prioritize removing satellites from space. Obviously, if they have declared bankruptcy, so the chances are next to nothing, like as good as zero, that they will remove their satellites. They will spend more money to remove their satellites from space. I hope it is clear. Now let's see if we have, yeah, person's name Holger Craig. Yeah, B option is there. So now you have around 10 seconds to tell me whether there is any from 36 to 39, whether there is any question that has option B as its answer, and the time starts now. Okay, time's up. Let's read the questions together. Has Holger said anything about exact location would help to prevent any possible danger? No, he hasn't said that. Has he said space should be available to everyone and should be preserved for the future? There is nothing like that. Is there anything that the recommendation regarding satellite is widely ignored? Yes, this is our answer. So this is the answer B. So now the question is where it is. Let me do this. Where it is written? Yes, here. But so far, only about half of all missions have abided by this 25-year goal. So they are like, they're saying that only maximum to maximum, they're saying that 50% of missions like follow this particular goal, meaning to say others are ignoring this particular advice. Like we have to do work like this so that we can integrate everything. Here it is written. So this is the mission that they're talking about, but only 25% or only 50%, only about half of all missions have abided by this. So not all, so widely ignored. And let's see if there is any other. Is there anything, is any mention about conflicting information where some satellites are in space? No, nothing like that. So we have 38 as its answer in paragraph C. I hope it is clear. So let's read D paragraph now. In theory, given the vastness of space, satellite operators should have plenty of room for all these missions to fly safely without ever nearing another object. So they're saying that in theory, so if we talk about theoretical part, though the space is too great, we know there's a vastness of space, space is infinite, so there is no end to space. Let me change the color first. Uh, there is no end to space, like it's ever expanding thing. Satellite operators should have plenty of room. So if there is no start, no end of this particular thing, it's like it has infinite room in it. So we should have plenty of room, of course, to fly safely without nearing any other object. Some scientists are tackling the problem of space junk by trying to find out where all the debris is to a high degree of precision. So what are some scientists doing? They're trying to find out the location of the debris to a high degree of precision. So precisely they're trying to find out like at what particular like coordinates the debris is present. That would alleviate the need for many of the unnecessary maneuvers that are carried out to avoid potential collision. So it will help to like avoid the maneuvers like moving the spaceship right or left or going like around something, so that we can save some fuel and time and we can avoid potential collisions. If you knew precisely where everything was, you would almost never have a problem, says Marilyn Sort. So there is another name. So there this person is saying that if you know where the exact location is, obviously you will never face sorry about that, obviously you will never face any problem. So you know where you have to go, what kind of route you have to take or which route you have to avoid, so obviously there will not be any problem for you. Okay, I hope the paragraph is clear. Now you have around 10 seconds to tell me whether there is any answer of question 28 or 30th in this or not. The time starts now. Okay, time's up. Let's read the questions together. Is there any explanation of a person saying no? Is there any comparison between tracking objects in space and efficiency of transportation system? Again, no. Yeah, we are trying to track objects in space like where they are, their location, but there is no comparison with the transportation system itself. So this cannot be our answer as well. Now we have done blanks, so blanks are out of the way. Yeah, we have done. Let's mark it like this. Holger Craig. Yeah, we have done that. Now Marlon Sorge. So if sorry if I'm mispronouncing the name. So this is the information. Now you have 10 seconds. Tell me if the any question has C as its option or not. Time starts now. Okay, time's up. Let's read the questions together. Is there any mention of knowing exact location can prevent possible danger? Yes, there is the answer. So its answer is C, where it is written here that I have highlighted. So if you know the like exact location, you would almost never have a problem. So you can prevent possible danger. So you know where to go and where not to go. So you will not have any problem with that. I hope it is clear. Moving on to the E paragraph, and let's see. The field is called space traffic management. So this particular field of study or whatever that field is, it is called space traffic management because it's similar to managing traffic on the roads or in the air. Why it is called space traffic? Because it's similar to managing traffic whether it's on the roads or in the air. Think about a busy day at an airport. Says Moriba Ja. So again, this is the name of a person, an astrodynamist at the University of Texas at Austin. Planes line up in the sky, landing and taking off close to one another in a carefully choreographed routine. So, this person is comparing airspace traffic management with air traffic management. Air traffic controllers know the location of the planes down to 1 meter in accuracy. So, the air traffic controllers they know the exact location to the 1 meter accuracy, so its precise location. The same can't be said for space debris. Not all objects in orbit are known, and even those included in databases are not tracked consistently. So this cannot be said for the space debris. Why? Because we do not know every object that is floating in space, and even those we know, we are not tracking them consistently. So we are tracking them on and off, something like that. I hope it is clear. So you have around 10 seconds. Tell me whether 28 or 30 is the answer in this paragraph or not. And the time starts now. Okay, time's up. Let's see the questions. Is there an explanation of personal aims? No, there is no such mention. Is there any comparison between tracking objects in space and efficiency of transportation system? Yes, there is. So the answer to this is E. Now, can you tell me the location of this? Yes, in the last sentences of the paragraph. Here, let me first mark it, then I'll explain. I don't think so you will need much explanation because I have already explained, but still I'll try to explain a bit more. So here they are comparing air traffic controller, so we know the location, to the 1 meter accuracy, so that is efficiency of transportation system. So transportation system is aerial transportation system, and it's quite efficient because we have precise location of all the airplanes flying in the sky and tracking objects in space. So but in space we are not doing this consistently. I hope it is clear. So now we have name here also. Yeah, this is D. So we have done C for this. Now, do you think there is any answer in this of D, like 37 and 39? Is there any D option here or not? The time starts now. Okay, time's up. So let's read the questions now. Is there any mention about space should be available for everyone? No. Any conflicting information where some satellites in space are? Is there any mention about that? Again, no. So they are saying that we are not tracking it consistently, but there is no conflicting information like someone is saying in north, someone is saying in northeast, someone is saying in south. So there is no conflicting information given. I hope it is clear. Now, we have last paragraph here, so obviously these answers should be in last paragraph. So this particular answer 28 should also be in the last paragraph. Okay, let's read it now. An additional problem is that, so question is saying just wait, let me drink some water. Yeah, thanks for waiting. So where were we? Yeah, we were trying about to read the F paragraph. An additional problem is that there is no authoritative catalog that accurately lists the orbit of all known space debris. So they're saying that one more, let me change the color first. So one more problem is that there is no authoritative catalog. So like there is no particular catalog that is like printed by some authority that you can say, yeah, they have gone through it thoroughly and this information should be accurate because that they though that authority is famous around the world, something like that, that accurately lists the orbits of all known space debris. Ja illustrates that with the web-based database that he has developed. It draws us. Ja, this is particular person. He or she illustrates that with the web-based database that he has developed. So he says that this it draws on several sources such as catalogs maintained by U.S. and Russian government to visualize where objects are in space. So this particular catalog, this particular thing, it draws several sources. It's not like only done by one particular person. He is using catalogs that are maintained by US and Russian governments. So obviously they should have some credentials to it. When he types in an identifier for a particular space object, the database draws a purple line to designate its orbit. So what the database shows. Only this quite doesn't work for a number of objects such as Russian rocket body designated in the database as object number 32280. So it works for a lot of objects, but it's not for all. For a number of objects it doesn't work. Okay, why? As example is Russian rocket and its number is designated as 32280. When Ja enters that number, the database draws two purple lines. The US and Russian source sorry the US and Russian sources contain two completely different orbits for the same object. So this is the problem. So whenever this particular number is entered, it draws two lines. The US is drawing something else, Russians are saying something else. Ja says that it is almost impossible to tell which is correct unless a third source of information made it possible to cross correlate. So obviously if there are only two things available, one is saying north, other is saying south, you will not be able to tell which one is correct until and unless there is third source of information you can rely on, so that you can cross check like which that third person is saying north or south. So according to that you can cross check or verify your claims. I hope this paragraph is clear. Now you will have around 10 seconds to tell me where it is written, whether we have 28th here or not, and the time starts now. Okay, time's up. So is there any mention of explanation of person's aims? Like why these are the aims or something like that? No, there is no mention in this particular paragraph. So but we have person's name here. So do you think we have, yeah, these two questions 37 and 39, do you think there is any information of 37 or 39 here? And for that you have around 10 seconds. The time starts now. Okay, time's up. So let's see 37. Is there any mention of space should be available to everyone and should be preserved for future? There is nothing, no mention of like making it available to everyone and something about future. There is no mention of that. Is there any mention of conflicting information where some satellites are in space? Yes, there is. So for this, the answer is D. Moriba Ja. Where it is written, let me change the color first. Here, when Ja enters that number, so they are saying two different locations. Question 39. I hope it is clear. Now let's read the last paragraph and I hope we will find both answers there. Jar describes himself as a space environmentalist. I want to make space a place that is safe to operate, that is free and useful for generations to come. Now, Ja, he's describing himself. He's saying that what I am a space environmentalist. So this is what I am, and what I want to do, I want to make a space that is safe to operate, free and useful for generations to come. Until that happens, he argues the space community will continue devolving into tragedy in which all space flight operators are polluting a common resource. So until this particular dream is realized, goal is realized, so what we will do is we will continue polluting a common resource, that is space. I hope it is clear. Now you have around 10 seconds. Tell me whether 28 is here or not. Time starts now. Okay, time's up. So obviously the answer to 28 is paragraph F. Clear? Where it is written here. So this. So this is person's explanation of aim, what that person wants to do. Uh, Sorry about that. So this is yellow. Okay. So this is what a person wants to do. Clear? So if you think if we can write up until here that he argues that space quantity will continue devolving, that's why he's trying to do that. Okay. So if you want, you this is what. Okay. Let me do this because I have to write there as well. So this, why this is the aim, why he wants to do this, you can mention it here also from here. I hope it is clear. Now this question 37, do you think it is in this paragraph or not? You have around 10 seconds for this. Again, time starts now. Okay, time's up. And obviously the answer is in this paragraph. So the answer to 37 is also option D. This one, Morba Ja. So D has two answers, 37 and 39. But where it is written, yeah, the one which we mentioned. So here, this is the location. So if you were not able to find this location, don't worry, I'm gonna explain it to you just now. Give me one sec. Okay, so here they're saying available to everyone, and for available to everyone, that is free. So if something is free, obviously it is available to everyone, preserved for future, useful for generations to come. So that is future. I hope it is clear. Uh, Let me do this. Yeah, I hope it is clear. So we have done 36, 37, 38, 39, 40th, all the blanks. Yeah, we have done CFAEB. Yeah. So this is how you should attempt such kind of question type. So if you are getting these kind of combination in question type, you can attempt like this. So if something is still not clear to you, you should re-watch that part of the video again and again until it is clear, or even after multiple attempts the thing is not clear, you can ask us in the comment section. We will be happy to clear your doubts. So if one more thing, if you want if you're struggling in your writing and or speaking and you want band 7 or more than that, and you are struggling to get more than 6 or 6.5, and you're not sure what you are doing wrong, even after multiple attempts, you have tried everything possible that you want, that you know about IELTS, still you are not able to crack down your errors, what are your weaknesses about the parameters of writing and or speaking, you can enroll in our video course. We have more than 70 videos, detailed videos on all the 4 modules, be it reading, all the 12 types of all the question types of reading. Sorry about that, my throat is itching. I don't know, sorry about that. So I'm gonna cut it short. So if you want to enroll in our video course, the link is in my bio. You can go to our website and enroll in our video course, and it will help you like it has helped thousands of students, numerous students, to get band 7 or more in the writing and or speaking. So if you want to be our next success story, you should enroll in our video course. It will help you to understand what IELTS is, what examiners are looking for, and how to give it to them. So that that's it for this video. Then I will see you in the next video. Till then, take care and goodbye.